Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Trials Evolution Gold Edition, at least the beta of it. This is the long-awaited re-release of Trials Evolution and Trials HD, the Xbox Live Arcade classics from Red Lynx and Ubisoft that are now available on the PC via Steam or via Ubisoft's own distribution platform, Uplay. So the way this works, I'm going to talk about the distribution a little bit before we actually jump into the game. Basically, Trials Evolution and Trials HD packaged together in a single bundle that is going to run you $20, which seems sensible because I believe Trials Evolution is still $15 on Xbox Live Arcade, and Trials HD has got to be at least 800 points still, if not, 1,200 points, which would make this total $30 on Xbox Live Arcade. So it's a little bit more than Trials Evolution is standalone, but I think that's kind of justified. And if you pre-order the game on Steam, you actually get access to the game in its current beta form, which you can use to play the game as it is right now. So this is everything you loved about Trials Evolution and Trials HD. It's got the level editor, it's got both of the entire games, and it's got that crazy physics, racing, / kind of platforming elements that you've come to know and love from this game. So I'm going to check it out. I've been playing about... I'm going to get my mouse pointer off the screen in case you guys can actually see that, but I've played about 3 hours of this game so far, and I've only owned it for 24 hours, so that should give you some indication of how I feel about this port. It's not perfect, there's some performance issues sometimes, but I think it's fair to say that this is the definitive version. So if I just go back here for a second, it's kind of a weird interface. The way the games have been integrated is not totally perfect. Basically, we have Crash County, which is the Trials Evolution courses, and HD Warehouse, which is the Trials HD courses. However, when you complete a course, you earn medals. Those medals are cross-game, but the license tests are only in Trials Evolution, that half of the game, if that makes any sense. This might make more sense as we move a little bit further along. Let's play some collateral damage here. We're in like some medium difficulty levels. I've got a little bit of Trials Evolution experience. I did a whole series on it. If you weren't following my channel back in, spring of 2012, you probably weren't aware of that. But in any case, I'm a big Trials Evolution fan. I'm not the best player in the entire world, but I do have a little bit of experience. Now, you might notice some weird frame rate issues. This game is, as I said, in beta. It actually appears to be running fairly well, but I have had some issues that I don't think are native only to my own machine. Sometimes it'll get a little framey and a little clippy, and this happens, more when you're using recording software. So, these are the kind of things that I'm hoping will be ironed out with the full release. But, it takes a little bit away from the product, but even still, this is a game that I heartily recommend. So, Trials Evolution, if somehow you've managed to go this far in your life without knowing anything about the Trials franchise at all, basically, very simplistic concept. It's just executed fantastically, particularly in Evolution, although HD is nothing to sneeze at as well. We're just driving this motorbike. Basically, we only have, 4 things that we can do. We can accelerate using right trigger. I'm not sure how this controls on the PC, by the way, because it wouldn't even think to enter into my brain to use keyboard and mouse for this. Not saying keyboard and mouse is always inferior, but I've always played Trials with a 360 controller, so it seems like a fairly good excuse here. Yeah, we can accelerate and slow down using right trigger and left trigger, or accelerate and brake rather. And we can also lean using our analog stick forward and backwards. And just by using this, we're going to try to create a successful run where we get to the end of the level without actually dying. Now, we can die and still complete the courses, and this is going to become more and more important as we get a little bit further along. Major complaint I have about the PC version, at least in its current form, sometimes it takes effing forever for you to connect to the Ubisoft servers and, get your scores saved, which is really annoying. We'll just play offline for now, because I have no real interest in making sure all of my leaderboard scores are counted right now. I'm not trying to min-max the levels, get golds on everything. And you know what, let's, I'm not going to do Giga Track, because that's like 20 minutes long, but we'll at least play Swamp Fever and Castle Crash. Evolution, in particular, has some really inspired level design. I'll play a little bit of the HD levels as well, because, that game's... It's basically, you could almost think of it as DLC for Evolution, despite the fact that HD came out first. If you haven't played the game before, Evolution, the Crash Canyon, or Crash County, is really probably going to be the focus of most of your gaming within this package, and I think deservedly so. But HD, you basically get like another, 80 levels that are a little bit less accomplished, I would say. In design, in terms of the actual courses themselves, they're fine, but, graphically, they're a little bit boring compared to the stuff you get out of Evolution. So, there's 2 ways you can play Trials Evolution, basically. You can play to try to get the perfect score, or you can just try to play to beat all the courses, and, generally speaking, you're going to be doing a mixture of both, depending on your skill and the difficulties of the levels that you're dealing with. So, on these levels, which are about the middle of the campaign of the game, I would say, I'm starting to come up against my skill ceiling, unfortunately. So if I just cancel here and play offline, we're gonna have to do that a lot. I don't know why. Did I just restart the race, or is this a different course? I can't remember if the environmental factors changed halfway through. I'm gonna guess that they do, unless I'm accidentally playing Giga Track. I really don't want to play Giga Track. I remember playing that one on the 360 version, and it's like nearly a half hour long, depending on how many mistakes you make. I think, anyway, if I remember correctly. But in any case, yeah, as I was saying earlier, Evolution has some really inspired level design, really cool graphical variety between the levels that is sort of, oh, you can do it, that is lacking in HD. But, you know, Evolution came a couple of years after HD, so that's kind of to be expected. HD was the original console version, at least, and I believe Trials 2 came out on PC earlier, but that was kind of a botched port from what I've heard. So this is, as far as I know, the first way to experience Trials HD and Evolution on the PC, short of a 360 emulator, which, you know, I don't even know if one of those exists. So let's do one more course here, then maybe I'll jump into HD for a little while, then I'll show off the level editor and also the skill games. There's a lot of variety. You might balk a little bit and think, you know, $20, that's pretty expensive for a game that looks very simplistic. Well, last year I heartily recommended Trials Evolution standalone for $15. So it should go without saying that I really think $20 is a good price for this whole package put together. Especially, I expect, you know, the 360 community with respect to, like, user-created levels was awesome. I expect it can only get better on the PC because it's going to be open to what I presume is a wider audience, and an audience that is perhaps more receptive to creating their own content for the game. I don't know if the level editor is any easier to use on PC, like with the keyboard and mouse interface. I assume that it's going to be basically the same as creating them on the Xbox 360 version. You can probably just use your controller to place elements. And the level editor is very comprehensive. You can make things like, I really need to stop just rushing through these levels. But you can make Trials courses if you want, but you can also make things like, you know, it almost has like a Little Big Planet 2 element of customizability. Like when I did my series on user-created levels, you could create like, you know, FPSs. There were a lot of like Slender knockoffs that sort of came to the forefront around the time that the game had come out. There was like a top-down dungeon crawler somebody made in it. There's all sorts of different skill games and stuff you can make it in as well. You know what? Before we boot into HD, let's check out the skill game Circus, because this is where a lot of people get a lot of enjoyment out of this game as well. Why don't we play, what's Sphere? Okay, so Sphere is basically like a Super Monkey Ball homage, if you will. I hesitate to say knockoff. But basically, this gives you, the reason I'm playing this right here is to give you an idea of how versatile the level editor is in Trials Evolution. And this is merely the tip of the iceberg, I promise you. I'm just using my analog stick to kind of push myself here. That's my best score. Bull effin' S. There we go. We set a slightly higher score there. It's going to take a while to save here, so we're just going to play offline. Again, the servers are slow to respond now. I assume that's the kind of thing they're doing beta testing for. Let's boot into another one here. Freestyler is a pretty good one. Again, to give you an indication, it's not always about getting to the end in Trials Evolution. Sometimes it is about getting the most points on something. So in this one, we are not actually on a motorcycle, we are skiing. There's other, like, super weird things that I've seen in the level editor. By the way, we get extra points for distance, and we get extra points for flipping as well. But there's super weird stuff you can make in the level editor. I've seen people make, like, helicopter... Oh, that was not good. I've seen people make like helicopter simulators where, you know, you use your controller to kind of simulate a helicopter flying. There's levels where you have to like pick up and dunk a basketball, which is hard enough in its own right. I'm not sure, again, getting some weird frame rate issues here. That's happened regardless of my recording software. So, you know, performance issues do happen in this game so far. That's probably a pretty good indication of how bad I am at this event. But yeah, apart from that... I'm very impressed with the product so far. Basically, all they had to do was bundle Evolution and HD in order to make a valuable product here, and I think that's exactly what they did to open this game up to people who did not have the 360 version, or access to the 360 version, I should say. So let's bump into easy levels here. Why not? Because I've already demonstrated how badly I suck at the game. And we'll start playing Log Explosive or something. Now, this is these are the Trials HD levels, and again, I should point out that the way that this works is that every time you complete a level, you're going to get a medal, assuming you complete it in a reasonable amount of time. If you get a bronze medal, that counts as 1 medal, silver counts as 2, and gold counts as 3. And these medal counts allow you to access new levels and further license tests in the game. So there's 2 ways of gating. Some packs of levels are gated behind a medal count, so you'll need to get like 150 medals total or something over the course of the entire game. in order to gain access to, you know, 12 new levels or something. And some of them are gated behind license tests, and usually the way it works is there will be license tests gated behind medal counts. So, you know, when you get, as you can see here, 135 medals, you get access to the new license test. Then when you beat that new license test, you unlock a bunch of new levels, which you can use to get medals to unlock the next license test, and so on and so forth. Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. In any case, we are playing the very early levels of HD here. The weird thing about the performance issues is that when you have like a bad frame rate, it then compensates seemingly by making the frame rate incredibly fast afterwards. I haven't, over the course of this video, it's been the worst performance issues I've had so far. But I have had performance issues along the same lines even when not using my recording software. So that's in the interest of full disclosure. As I always say, I am using a pretty beefy machine here, but those issues could be personal to me. But who knows? I encourage you to look up kind of further discourse or further user opinion on the beta so far to see if those performance issues are endemic. Again, the game itself doesn't actually come out until March 21st, so it's about 3 weeks away as of the time of this recording anyway, and probably as of the time of this video release. So there's a lot of time left for Red Links to tweak this game in order to make it work a little bit better on the PC. But again, I can't stress enough, in spite of all my negatives, which largely just boil down to the performance issues and kind of a weird grouped interface for these games. Like, it took me a long time to figure out that... let me start this off with a story, because that might help me explain it a little better. Normally, I just booted into Trials Evolution here for my very first play, and then as I was beating levels, I realized that the second license test was gated in such a way that I needed to get literally a gold medal on every single course available to me in Trials Evolution to unlock it. So I was like, man, did they just make things super difficult for the beta or something? Like, it's so difficult to unlock even the C license test. This isn't Gran Turismo. It's Trials, motherfucker. And, yeah, we'll do smooth jumps as the last easy level here. As you can tell, the difficulty does vary significantly. But it turns out the medals you earn in both Evolution and HD count towards your overall total, which is, okay, the frame rate, thank you for stabilizing, which is how it works. So I think they've raised the requirements for the medals for the license test, but that's so that if you need to, you can boot back into HD and, you know, supplement your medal count that way. So it seems like it's been rebalanced, and that's appropriate. It just, I wish it was conveyed a little bit better. And I don't know, it's kind of weird how the games interact like that. But what that does mean is that I think, like, your unlocks and your costumes are, that was the worst, stupidest flip for no reason. But yeah, like, your unlocks and your character customization and stuff, that's cross-game. So it's not like if you unlock a bike, then it's only going to be accessible to you in Trials Evolution or instead of Trials HD, and vice versa, of course. Anyway, I'm going to get out of this, and why don't we check out some of the skill games in Trials HD, and then we'll check out the level editor. As of yesterday, there were not too many games or too many levels available in the Track Central, which is the user-created levels. There is multiplayer as well. The multiplayer in Trials has never been something that's my cup of tea. Basically, it is like a supercross racing mode. You know, it's got a little bit of zaniness associated with it as well, but I don't consider it particularly fantastic. This is an interesting one. Outside the ball. There's one where we go inside the ball, and we basically have to survive in this American Gladiator-style ball as long as we can. But on this one, we actually have to, oh, well, that was a good start. Let me hit B, please. Well, apparently I hit the wrong button, and the game shut down, so we're gonna boot back into, Trials Evolution Gold Edition here. Again, it's a beta. I kind of still do want to check out those skill games, so let's go back to Trials HD, or the HD Warehouse as they call it now. I should mention, by the way, these tournaments are not like online tournaments. They're just a series of races where you, like a series of events that don't have gaps in between them, if that makes sense. So it's not like you do a standalone event like I've been doing in these courses so far. It's more like you have like 7 courses grouped together, and you know, your total score is what actually matters. Anyway, let's jump into these skill games here again. Hopefully they will not crash again. Maybe we won't check that one out. What about In Flames is an interesting one. Target Hunt I don't really like. Ski Jump is annoying. Let's do Inside the Ball this time, because I at least have some, I wouldn't necessarily say aptitude, but I've got some experience with it, and we'll play with our medium bike here. The bike selection does matter. I don't know if it matters that much in skill games, because my skill is quite low. So in this game, we're just trying to ride inside of the ball as long as we can. This isn't going to be too long of a video, but that's mostly due to my own design, for a couple of reasons. The first reason is that there's an awful lot to show off inside of these games. Like, in spite of the fact that there's a very simple concept, there is a substantial amount of variety between the skill games in both games, the courses that are just, natively in both games, as well as now, in particular, the track editor, which I don't actually mess around with the track editor myself, because I'm not very good at creating user-created levels, but I enjoy playing the user-created levels, and I'm planning on actually, once the game reaches full release, maybe, oh, come on! Once the game actually reaches full release, or maybe a little bit before if the content is there to support it, the volume of content, I want to restart the Northernlion Plays Trials Evolution series, where I play primarily user-created levels, because I enjoyed that series a lot, and some of the stuff that people make in this game is truly goddamn amazing. So yeah, those are the 2 reasons I'm going to be a little bit short, although this will still probably be like a 25-minute long video. Then 25 minutes is showing off like 1% of the content available in this game. So again, despite, that was bad too. Despite the simple concept, apparently I'm 33rd in the world at that right now, which is crazy. Yeah, despite the simple concept, there is an awful lot of stuff to see, and it's very well done. This is an incredibly satisfying game. Let's go into the track central now. Like the 360 version, it's all handled internally within the game, so you don't actually have to open like a separate browser window to download levels, which I guess is pretty standard by this part. Let's go to most downloaded this week and see if we actually have some good tracks available, because yesterday there were lots of works in progress and, fairly bad tracks. One of the things I loved a lot about the 360 version is that it was super quick to download new levels. So let's check out Downhill Jam here. So it was like literally 10 seconds to download each level. I'm not sure how the game actually, delivers that, but I'm glad that it does. Hopefully the servers are going to be capable of doing that here as well. When I played yesterday, I didn't have any trouble getting levels downloaded super quickly, so hopefully we'll be able to boot into Downhill Jam here really quickly. And in terms of user-created levels, it's not just trials courses. I've already mentioned some of the crazy stuff you can make, but you can also make skill games, and you basically, the world is your oyster when it comes to the track editor here. I think we might actually be handicapped a little bit by the Ubisoft or Uplay servers being not so hot right now. I don't know if this beta is, excuse me, primarily for load testing or something. But I guess maybe it's a little bit inconsistent with the amount of time it takes to download a track, or maybe this track is just effing huge. I'm not 100% sure either way, but let me take this opportunity to talk a little bit more and reiterate that if you want to get access to the beta is currently, it's open, it's semi-open. You have to pre-order the game, essentially, to get access to the game. And it's a little bit weird. If you pre-order it on Uplay, you're good to go on Uplay. If you pre-order it on Steam, you actually have to boot the game through Uplay. So what will happen is, like, you'll pre-order it on Steam, launch the game through Steam, Uplay will open, you'll have to make a free account there, and play the game through Uplay. It's very weird. Ubisoft's doing this a lot lately with, like, the Mania Planet stuff for Trackmania and Shootmania, which are coming to Steam as well. I'm not a huge fan of it, but, to be honest with you, I'm not going to take a stand over it, because I'm just happy that Trials basically exists on the PC. It's a hoop, but it's a very, very minor hoop, and, Uplay might actually be responsible for some of the performance issues with the game so far. Did I say Ubisoft might be responsible or Uplay might be responsible? I can't remember. Uplay might be responsible. So we're playing Downhill Jam right here. Oh, we got a turn there. This is a fairly well-designed level, assuming, the sense of scale is pretty good. My bike's getting a little bit of a speed wobble going on, but that's okay. You can do really cool stuff with the level editors in these games, and there's a lot of, like, Red Links created levels that they will release on the level editor, but even the Red Links created levels that are actually in the game, they do have a great... Oh, no! Okay, we barely made it. They do have a great sense of scale, similar to this level sometimes, although it varies. You know what? That was a totally cool user-created level. I only got a silver, but I would still consider that. That's a 4-star track as the game exists right now. Again, not so many people playing right now, so I didn't want to go to the garage, actually. You can unlock cosmetic stuff. You usually unlock new bikes by completing license tests, so those aren't things that you necessarily unlock with in-game currency. It's more like bandanas, new helmets, pants, etc., if you're into that kind of thing. Let's check out the Hustle. This looks like a cool map as well. Yesterday, there were all of the maps were like work in progress. You do like one ramp followed by like 7 automatic right turns. What was I saying a second ago? Basically, I'm really excited to, I paid out of my own pocket for this version of Trials because I really want to see where the level editor goes. I'm having a fun time playing through the Red Links created levels that are already in the game for, the second or third time, I guess, with respect to Trials HD and Evolution. This would be the second time I played through the levels. And I encourage you strongly, if you haven't played through those games on the 360 on the Xbox Live Arcade version, this is a very, very good game, and you can be satisfied with just the original game contained within each package. But I'm really excited as someone who's got an affinity for the series and who has spent a lot of time with the series to see how the PC community deals with the level editor. I think there's a real chance for there to be a lot of robust kind of content here. So, you know, the Uplay servers haven't been fantastic over the course of this video so far, which is, I think, why it's taking so long to download tracks, whereas yesterday it worked just fine. But, you know, you're seeing it live here. Full disclosure, I mean, this is caveat emptor. If you don't want to have access to these technical issues, maybe you don't want to pre-order in its current state and gain access to the beta. Instead, maybe you would be the kind of person who would rather wait for reviews to come out when the game is actually out and see if these technical issues have been ironed out. If you don't mind dealing with them, then, you know, the choice is yours, essentially. But due to the fact that this is taking forever, this is going to be the last user-created track I'm going to look at in this video, which will also, I think, represent the last piece of content that we will see in this video. But hopefully, it finishes soon, because otherwise we might just exit here, and that might leave a bad taste in people's mouth if it takes forever to download. I mean, because the thing is, I don't think the value proposition for a lot of people is going to be, yeah, I'll wait 10 minutes to download a 45-second track. There we go. Again, I have to say that on the 360 version, it worked totally fine, and it downloaded within, you know, 10 to 20 seconds. So, I'm hoping that gets ironed out here. I don't see any reason why it would necessarily download slower on the PC. Oh, well, that was a good start. In fact, you might think in some circumstances that it would be faster, but that's, I guess, up to Ubisoft and Uplay and Red Links to figure out. This seems like a fairly tricky level so far. The users will create some truly fucking heinous levels in this level editor. I promise you that. If the 360 community is any indication, a lot of these user-created levels are going to exist primarily to fuck you. I wonder if I just back up here. Sometimes these gaps will have like a dynamite or something below them, so you can't actually fall off of them. But this seems like a more of a medium difficulty level, I would say, until I saw this section here. Oh, okay. I thought it was like a super thin girder we had to land on at the very top there, but we should be okay. And then we just plank here, land like so. Staircase might be a little tricky. And this is an example of a very simple level in Trials Evolution. I'm not trying to hate on the designer of this level by any stretch of the imagination, because I think it's fun so far. But what I will say is, if you think this is an ambitious level, you have another thing coming once this community gets a little bit more well-versed in how to deal with this level editor, which, again, incredibly robust. You can make some silly and awesome things. Oh, God. I can't see. You might want to get that beam out of there. You can make some seriously silly and amazing things with the level editor in this game. Little Big Planet 2 style. Did I miss something there? No, there's our checkpoint. So we're probably getting fairly close to the end of the level, I'm guessing. This looks like a backflip. Yeah. And sometimes those tactical backflips, you know, they actually come in handy. We can land here without hitting our back wheel. We'll be okay. Oh! The other thing about Trials that I haven't mentioned that is going to seem a little weird to some of you is that only the main crux of a lot of the physics-based puzzles in this game is that only the back wheel actually generates power. So in order to... it's close! We made it to the checkpoint. In order to get over a lot of these obstacles, you know, sometimes you have to, like, throw your front wheel over the top and then just use the momentum generated by that kind of weight in order to get your back wheel some traction so that it can actually, like, generate the force necessary to push you up the slope. In particular, this becomes very important on, like, very steep hill climbs. But this might be the end of the level here. So I think that was a fairly decent level. I'm going to give it 4 stars. Again, apparently I end up in 6th place somehow because no one is dealing with Track Central now, I suppose. In any case, thank you guys for watching. This is Trials Evolution Gold Edition, available now on the PC via Steam or via Uplay if you are one of the 2% of users who actually, you know, use that as a distribution platform. You're gonna have to get Uplay either way if you're interested in checking out this game, at least in its current state. I think it's gonna require Uplay when you actually, like, when the full version actually comes out as well, but I can't speak with 100% confidence about that. But in any case, I heartily recommend Trials Evolution Gold Edition in spite of some bumps that it has so far. I don't know why it says I only have an hour and 36 minutes played. Steam says I have 4 hours played, maybe even 5. But, you know, maybe that's time where I've just spent playing offline because the servers have been a little effed up. But yeah, in spite of a few technical hiccups, Trials Evolution, you know, it's Trials Evolution plus Trials Gold, or sorry, plus Trials HD, which is well worth the $20 on its own, and Track Central is basically like a fertile meadow waiting to sprout. I feel like this could really be something special with the PC community, which is kind of renowned for user support, supporting it as users. But in any case, there's your information on that. The beta is available for pre-orderers right now. And in any case, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time. Look out for the Trials Evolution series as the game gets a little bit deeper into beta or closer to release. Again, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.